Now that we have talked about careers in physical education teaching or physical activity instruction, now we're going to talk about careers in coaching and sports instruction. Sometimes a person may want to coach, but they do not want to teach, meaning they don't want to become certified teachers. The goal of coaching and sport instruction as a professional career is to help individuals in activity settings develop and maintain a modest to high level of motor skill performance and fitness. This goal is reached through well designed practice and conditioning sessions that involve explanation, instruction, and verbal and visual feedback. What's the difference between sports instruction and coaching responsibilities? Instructors tend to spend relatively more of their time with instructional responsibilities, like sharing knowledge and molding students' behaviors. Coaches, on the contrary, spend more time on the supplemental responsibilities like recruiting, scouting, reviewing film, scheduling, budgeting, and fundraising. What about in which type of settings may individuals coach and or perform their sport instruction responsibility? All too often, community settings are settings in which coaches and sport instructors will deliver their services. Uh, Community settings are civic minded in principle. The first goal is to improve of the social, physical, and moral development of the local community. Specifically, when it comes to physical activity, is that of developing physically active lifestyle to maintain well-being. The reality is that many volunteer coaches focus on winning even at all costs. However, most community settings are more about participation rather than winning, are more about developing the person than the sport itself. Coaches or sport instructors can also work in educational settings. Particularly, private schools tend to hire coaches to just be coaches, but you can also work in college and university settings or other institutional settings. For example, HD have many coaches who are not teachers, who are not instructors. They only work full time as coaches. A coach or sport instructor can also be work with elite athletes for hire, like on one-on-one basis, in commercial sports settings. If an individual becomes a coach or a sports instructor within the school setting, K-12 teachers, you often are going to be working on developing motor skills, fitness, healthy lifestyles, and sometimes even developing basic sports skills or strategies. Nonetheless, any person working on these particular settings are required to have a bachelor's degree or higher, plus state teaching licensure. Again, if you are thinking about becoming a coach or response instructor and you also want to get into teaching. So it's very important to understand that if you decide to go into teaching and coaching as career path, you will eventually be required to have teacher certification in order to have job security. Sometimes a coach or sports instructor may also work in a college setting instead of a coach, but as an instructor, as a teacher. They often teach activity classes. Some of you are taking activity classes with Mr. Bill Rogers here at HD, and classes in health, first aid, or CPR. And Mr. Rogers is an activity instructor for HD, but he was first a coach and a sports instructor, but he used that expertise to be able to teach activity classes at the college level. To do that, you are required to have a master's degree. Mr. Rogers has a bachelor's degree in kinesiology from HT, but he also has a master's degree in fitness and sports administration from Angelo State University. What if a coach or sports instructor wants to pursue a career within a university college setting? Well, there are a wide range of responsibilities depending on the size of the school and the type of responsibility. For example, if you are going to coach in a large 4 year institution, too often coaching is your primary responsibility. This is a big schools like University of Texas, Texas A&M University, Baylor University, Texas Tech, and many others. If you're a coach within those institutions, often your primary responsibility is that of a coach. However, junior colleges, smaller 4 year institutions like HT, coaching is one of the responsibilities in addition to other responsibilities in order to have a good paying salary. So it is not uncommon that some of the coaches in small schools may also teach or may also have other responsibilities within the university in order to justify their salaries. So the size of the university doesn't matter when it comes to what type of responsibilities you will have as a coach within the institution. Up close views of coaching and sports instruction. Community physical activity instructors. There are many jobs out there for community physical activity program instructors. Organizations like Big Brother Big Sister, organizations like the YMCA, many health clubs, and even Austin Parks and Recreation. If we're thinking about the city of Austin, they often seek individuals to take on job responsibilities that of community physical activity instructors. These are community youth sport development leaders, other adult sport leaders, and often are individuals who have some type of education certification working with community sport programs. But you could also be a professional sports instructor, and education and certifications are required, but often you have to also have experience as a professional athlete to then make that transition to become a sports instructor. Basically, you need to have an understanding of the sport you are trying to coach to elite athletes. Coaching. Well, there's many levels of coaching. Youth sport coaches, coaching institutional settings, coaching in middle and secondary schools, coaching in college and universities, coaching in professional sports. Therefore, there's a wide range of opportunities when it comes down to coaching. What's important is to understand the setting where you want to do it. Because if you want to get into coaching for the money, coaching is not a career that's going to make you rich unless you work in professional sports, unless you're a professional sports coach, like you coach in professional soccer, or you coach in professional baseball, or you coach in professional basketball, hockey, you name it. But in most other settings, coaching is not a profitable or a career that where you're gonna get a lot of money. However, it is a very rewarding career because if you love the sport, you're committed to the sport and informing others to enjoy sports for life, then coaching is a great career because you are always gonna be on the move. You're always gonna be alert. You're always gonna be doing something, but you're always gonna be around something you enjoy. So if you're pursuing coaching, do not see it from the stand of the money you'll make. You gotta see it from the stand of the influence you may have on the people that you coach, but the fact that you're also gonna be around the sport that you probably enjoy already. Even though it is coaching, you still need to get certifications and continue education in order to give credibility to the job you do. So, coaches, we never stop educating ourselves, we never stop preparing ourselves to do the job we do because we want to make sure that we have credibility with the audience we're intending to work with. Now, when it comes to community coaches, many times these are volunteer positions, right? You know, Sometimes they run practice on a weekly basis. They attend coaches meetings. They attend games. They teach basic skills. They teach rules of the game. They keep game stats. But guess what? Most community coaches are volunteer positions, meaning they do not get paid for that job. So if you're a parent and you have your children in community settings, sport community settings, and you are working with volunteer coaches, please, please be patient. Please, please give them a break. Volunteer coaches do not get paid for that job. Be appreciative that they are working with the kids to allow the kids to have fun and recreate and be active. If you want your child to pursue sports as a path, then you may need to move from community based sport organizations to clubs or more competitive settings if that is what you and your child choose to do. Again, when it comes to public school settings, coaches often are first teachers and their primary responsibility is that to teach, but then they receive a stipend for taking on the responsibility of coaching. And they all need to follow national standards for athletic coaches as well as national standards for teacher certification. For college and university coaches, team and facility management, budgeting, recruiting, public relations, and athletic eligibility is some of their main responsibilities beyond that of running practices and coaching during game days. Because it's a college and university, it is elite sport. It is high competitive sport. Therefore, winning it's very important for the sustainability and job security of the coach. There are differences between Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3 schools when it comes to NCAA as well as NAIA. But you could go and coach in any university setting and you just simply have to meet the requirements for eligibility and coaching hiring within the organization that you are choosing to work with. If they require you to have coaching certifications, you gotta meet those certifications, but if they do not, then you have to meet their requirements that they have of you at the time of employment. Now, for professional sport coaches, many are non-teaching or non-coaching duties. Administration, recruitment, and media appearances may be required because now you work for organization for profit. Professional sports is about making money. Therefore, when you are a professional sport coach, you gotta adhere to the requirements to make it profitable. Therefore, your employment retention depends significantly on producing a winning team.